Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do every day. 6:10 typically.
How often do you hit the snooze button?
Typically never. I might be up and be reading emails in the bed for like 5 minutes, but yeah, no, typically there are days where I will get up and decide that, the body isn't feeling up for it. So I can only decide in the morning, like I can't tell at night. I wake up and yeah, no, the soreness hasn't gone, so I'm not going. But typically, no, there's no snoozing.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Yes, I do. But my dog wakes me up 5 minutes before. So I don't know if that's good or bad. I think it's good actually, because she's figured out how to shove her head under my arm in such a way that it pops up and then pets and then lands on her head.
Oh, wow.
So I wake up with her using my body to pet her. It's like a little weird, like you're definitely like, you're just using me for my body. But it's also kind of a pleasant way to wake up.
Yeah.
So I do set an alarm, but usually the dog is the one who actually wakes me up.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do every day, including the weekend, 5 a.m. or if I had to go to bed later, 8 hours after I go to bed.
Do you hit the snooze button at all?
Usually not. There's usually no need. So if I have a normal, regular routine, and I work out, and I get my 8 hours of sleep, then I sleep well, then I get up pretty fresh. Things get out of whack sometimes when I travel. So obviously when I shift between time zones, things are a bit less reliable, although even there, they're usually dialed in pretty well. And in fact, it is important for me for managing jet lag to get up at the right time at the destination. That's one of the keys to not suffering severely from jet lag. So there, even if I don't feel particularly joyful in the morning, I do get myself out of bed because it's important, because if I don't, it's gonna get even worse.
Worse, right. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Yes, and how? Yeah, right now it's just music. Yeah, put music in the morning.
Yeah. And how often do you hit the snooze button?
Right now, I have to say that I don't do it, but I was terrible at this. Like when I was a student, I will, especially in the weekends, that there is nothing forcing you to wake up really. And I will put the alarm clock at 9 a.m., which is already kind of late for a lot of people, but for me that was super early, because I had the hope that this weekend will be a long weekend, I will do a lot of things. And then I will just keep pressing the snooze button until maybe 1 p.m. And I will do this weekend after weekend. It was terrible. So I was really bad with that. But now it's okay because there are so many things to do that you really don't have time to
hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
No. I just get up automatically. My body has an internal alarm which wakes me up at 7 a.m.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Yeah, because 6:30 would not be natural otherwise. Definitely have an alarm. Yeah.
And how often do you hit the snooze button?
Never hit the snooze button. It's pretty quick. I will wake up and I just need to start thinking about work just a little bit. Then my adrenaline kicks in and I immediately like get going. So yeah.
Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. And do you hit the snooze button ever, or how often? No. Yeah.
No, not a snoozer. Once in a while, like my alarm is usually on my phone, and my son will come in and take my phone while I'm sleeping, and then it doesn't go off, and that makes me unhappy.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Pre-pandemic, yes, I always set an alarm. Post-pandemic, depends on whether I have an early meeting or not. I mean, basically, I've saved like 3 hours a day by not commuting into work. So I used to walk to the train and take the train in, and so that whole process took a lot of time. But so now it's just I've saved that time. But and also I've decided in these pandemic times I want to get a lot of sleep, so I don't want to wake myself up earlier than I need to.
Yeah, yeah. When you set an alarm, do you end up hitting the snooze button?
No. My wife does, and it drives me crazy. It's like she just wakes me up 3 or 4 times when she could just wake me up once. But no, I get up when the alarm happens.
Yeah, yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
No, because I mean, of course, I've tried doing this, but if I wake up when my body is not ready to wake up, then again I get headache. I feel like this conversation is just becoming about headache now. But yeah, so I don't tend to set up alarms, and usually I wake up after 8 hours, sometimes even 9 hours. But I feel like it's worth doing that, so that I don't I end up spending my day fresh.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do, although I wake up before my alarm always. And when I don't, it indicates that I'm not getting enough sleep. So my alarm goes off typically about 6:30. I'm up about 6:15. If I sleep and I hear the alarm, I'm like, oh my gosh, I must have been thinking, I must have been tossing. There's something not quite right.
Yeah, yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do. So Rowan usually wakes up around like 6:40, my 1-year-old daughter. And so I set an alarm at 6:40. And then if she's not awake yet, then I'll usually wait a few minutes and then get up. But yeah, I've only had like maybe a couple of days in the last few years when I slept as long as I wanted to sleep. I always have to get up early for the kids or for something.
Yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
These days, I think because I've been, sleeping well and more regularly, I do have one, but I tend to wake up before that, just on time. So it's been a good regular sleep cycle. But yeah, before that, it was just, I was in constant jet lag, for years, maybe decades. It just felt like I never kind of had this ability to kind of get into my own rhythm. And so I was always looking at external forces to keep me wherever it did. And honestly, looking back, I think that was not healthy to be, either jet lagged or putting all-nighters, right? Like whatever young people do, I think there is a lot in our culture, whether it's academic culture or like the outside culture. Everything just encourages us to not prioritize sleep. And now that I do it, it's just so much better in every way. I can focus better. I can be much more effective.
Yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do. So when I was, I guess when I was an undergrad, I had this false belief that I didn't need that much sleep. It was totally wrong. I used to operate on much less sleep at that time, and I used to fall asleep in class, even if I was in the front row. It didn't matter. There was a time when I asked a question and then I fell asleep before the answer came back.
Wow.
So, I learned that sleep is important, but I do find it important to set an alarm and, wake up at a given time. I'm very flexible with regards to time schedule, so I don't have a strong biological clock as far as I can tell, so having an alarm helps me wake up at a time when others would like me to be awake.
Yeah. And do you hit the snooze button often?
No, I don't. I don't give myself the luxury of having time to hit the snooze button. So when the alarm goes off, I wake up.
Yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
I do.
Do you hit snooze often?
Maybe half the time I'll kind of lay there in bed, not necessarily hitting snooze, but I'll like pick my phone up and see what news has happened or like what emails have come in during the night that I might need to be thinking about while I'm having breakfast or whatever.
Yeah. Do you set an alarm in the morning?
Our kids are the alarm. So they will wake us up, see that they want to eat or something.
Yeah, makes sense.
So like so on Tuesday and Thursday I'll teach a course at 8 a.m. So it's very early morning.
Wow. Yeah.
So for that I'll set an alarm. But the rest of the Monday, Wednesday, Friday I don't set an alarm.
Yeah.